Hey, great Tuesday evening. It is a beautiful evening in the city of Brownsville, Texas, and it's kind of a trippy deal. But I'm actually at the office, and I'm not at the house. And I decided to do the show from the office because last time we had the show at the house. Good evening. Good evening. Last time we had the show at the house with Greg. Hola, man. I had issues with the internet. So I said, not going to let that happen again. I'm going to make sure that that we have great everything. And sure enough, I'm here by myself. Good evening, good evening, good evening. And I'm here by myself. Edit privacy. Because I don't know what happened to the other people that were supposed to be on. Good evening, good evening. So, um, we'll wait 5-10 minutes. Have a quick little show. Boom. Yeah, go for it. Boom. I am officially on TikTok. Why? Because it's kind of trippy because everybody else is on TikTok. The reason I'm getting on TikTok is because they um they started to follow me on TikTok because at some point or other, I just wanted to make sure that I sent them the right link. At one point or other, I created a profile on TikTok, and without me even trying, I think I got like 20 some, 30 some people on there already. Not real sure. But this is individuals that I guess are looking for Erasmo Castro out there, and they say, "Oh, Erasmo Castro's on TikTok," and they said, "Let's follow." And I said, "Well, damn, I need to do TikTok." So I decided I'm going to get on TikTok, and I'm going to do uh, traveling content because I do a lot of traveling. So my TikToks are going to be: this is where I'm at, this is where I'm eating, this is me getting on the plane, this is me missing the plane. I'm hoping that that does not happen. This is me going around. So that's what I'll do for the TikTok. Yeah, it's kind of trippy because on the video that I made the here, I said I'm going to get on el TikTok because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Fortunately, Eduardo will be going with me. Good evening. Good evening. So Eduardo is bueno para el TikTok, and he could actually teach me a couple of things, like el TikTok. He's probably going to be teaching me a lot of things, but that I'm not going to record that part of the story. It would be good, but I am going to report el TikTok. El TikTok. I'm going to take off my. I did the Talavera bracelet. Talavera bracelet. But for some reason, my cats get upside down. I'm not sure exactly why. Um, I've been getting asked questions in regards to what's going on with the school schedule tomorrow. As far as I'm concerned, as far as I know, the school schedule stays the same. So we'll see what happens. And I mean, regular school day. They have not announced whether they're canceling any classes tomorrow. So it should be interesting. We'll see what happens. Um, Anything else happened today? No, it's supposed to have Greg Kunkel on tonight. Did not make it. I'm okay. I'm not upset. Because I'm not upset because I'm a stand-up kind of guy, and I've been dumped before. I've been left by myself. and it's kind of sucks because even Roman was supposed to be on. Don't have Roman on either. That's okay. A lot of times things happen. The show must continue. Yeah, it's a certain point. I'm only going to do a good 10 minutes and then I'm out. I'm going to go have supper somewhere. I'm not even going to say where because I'm mad. I'm not mad, but I like people that commit. And when you commit, actually, I even shared where it had announced on his page that we're supposed to do a show tonight. So something must have happened. I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt until I find out that they just decided not to show up. It happens. Um, I don't have anything else. Nothing else happened in the city of Brownsville except nothing. No more quickies. Do the show. Uh, I'm more comfortable with the morning shows. If people don't show up, the invited guests don't show up in the evening. Expected a little bit more from Greg, but that's okay. That happens. Oh, he's coming on now. We'll see. He is working to connect now. Thank you, Abby. Well, that's cool. I love the red dress. Abby, we should just have you on. And maybe that will make it just a-okay. Yeah, because that's fine. I'm going to give him 4 minutes. And then I'm out of here. No, oh, there he is. I was cutting it.
No, nombre Erasmo. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. No, what happens is, and that's cool. Uh, Usually, I mean, it's okay. I actually am. I said, you know what? I felt kind of bad last time that we were on because the sound was horrible. It started off because of the internet, and I said, you know what? I'm going to wait at the office. So I said, at least here at the office, I know I'm guaranteed that I have a good internet, good system. So I said, no, gotta be there, gotta be there. So how's it going? How's the campaign going?
Going great, nonstop today. Multiple events. Looking forward to this weekend. Caught your show earlier a little bit with Roman. I know you hate people being late, so I apologize. And my phone died right as I was getting on, and I had to like plug it in. And you know how it takes 5 minutes to restart for iPhones and everything.
Yeah.
And so I made it. All that to say, I made it.
So you're on your iPhone?
Right now, yes, sir.
That's great. I mean, that's actually a good picture.
Oh, thank you.
Well, yeah, not as good not as good looking as me, but it's okay. No, but it's trippy because you know, I think technology is just so amazing. I do get off on when I'm traveling a lot. I start to do a lot of the videos off my phone, and but this looks really really good. You have the 15?
No, I can't afford that. I have four children at Erasmo, so I'm like on the 12 or 13, honestly. But hey, thank you for the compliments.
No, it's great. And great reception. Talking about technology, were you up watching the Iowa caucuses last night?
Yeah, I got to watch a little bit. Definitely saw the victory that happened with Trump. It was amazing. I mean, record turnout. Trump support. You know, I voted for Trump. I'm gonna vote for Trump again. And I think Iowa spoke volumes last night about how America feels about these issues, the border, um, immigration that we're seeing at the border, of course. Everything that the economy, you know, I think this is definitely an anti-Biden, pro-Trump time. And I like DeSantis. I like Haley. You know, I don't like Chris Christie. I'm not going to even talk about that guy. And I like Vivek. And then I was just listening to Vivek in New Hampshire with Trump. Right now, Vivek just came on stage and opened up for Trump,
No.
and their New Hampshire already started. Man, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
So I think it's great. Definitely.
Well, it's again. I don't think it was a surprise to anyone that Trump was going to be, the top vote getter or the caucus
Yeah.
yesterday. There was no doubt, and I just didn't think that he was going to go after over 50%. But
Records
record,
breaking.
yeah, and despite something that we went through here today, yesterday was one of the very frigid day, very very cold day up in Iowa, up in all northeast and the
Yeah.
north. So it's amazing that individuals just wanted to come out and vote, and they wanted to come out to vote for Trump. But something that you said is very true. It's very telling in regards to where the country is right now in regards to sentiment about all the major issues. One of the things that I like to do, and I'm sure that you being on the campaign trail are well versed on this. One of the things that I like to watch is I think Fox News does it. I think some other shows do it. They go out into the diners and they talk to people,
Yeah, yeah.
and they ask them like, "Hey, what are your top issues? What are your top issues?" And I like that for a lot of reasons. I kind of gotten uh, I kind of started to dislike Fox News a lot. I just thought that they were going off way too much to the right for my liking. But I kind of appreciate those diner stuff because you get to hear from regular folk, and I think that's something that you've experienced going out campaigning, getting to hear from regular folk, not necessarily the donors, the high profile, the elite, but la raza que va y come tacos en el Laredo Taco Company.
Hey, you just inspired me. I'm gonna start a new segment called "Live from the Valero," live from the Stripes, live from the Zoom, and let's talk to the votes. As a matter of fact, this morning I was trying to get a taco late, like I'm thinking 9 to 10 o'clock before I did an event, and 20 people came in line right in front of me. I had to actually leave because there wasn't enough time. But man, I need to start doing a segment directly from the taco line. Seriously.
And I'm not even joking. Think about this.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be. I'd watch. I'd watch, and it's just getting regular folk. Hey, you're here from this area, South Texas. What are the issues that are concerning to you? I'm running for Congress, and
Yeah.
give us your take, and just record them and have someone. I think it's a great idea, man. I'm a genius, I think, but I think it's a great idea, bro.
I will credit it to you. Seriously, I will. I'm gonna do it. I'll tag you in the post, and we'll go
I,
direct from the taco line.
I promise I'll share it and call it that taco like combo or something or conversation.
Taco line politics.
Taco line politics. And it. I'm just surprised nobody else has thought of doing something like that because you. And again, I think it would involve a lot more individuals. Individuals would feel obligated to, hey, let me go out there and support this individual, and you get to hear from people and say, hey, I plan not only to be out here while campaigning, but also after I get elected, I'm going to be out here talking to y'all every day. And I think that's what a lot of people have never seen politicians do.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I completely agree. And you know what? Not enough politicians, even in the valley, are approachable and want to talk to people and discuss the issues, and more importantly, the solutions. And we just need, I mean, even not in just South Texas, but across America. Like you said, I do appreciate one thing about Fox News. I used to watch it a lot too, but I feel the same way you do, that things have turned and changed over time with the mainstream media across all media outlets. But I will say this, I do appreciate people, instead of even just relying on the networks, I like to look at the people that are on there. And for instance, I like Brett Baer a lot. He's a great commentator and tries to stick to the issues and stay middle ground and listen to people. And just like you said, people need to discuss the issues, and even the taco lines and the gas line, everywhere. We need to see what's going on in people's hearts and their minds, and take that time to do it.
Well, one of the things, and again, I don't know if you heard, but I am planning to do the TikTok thing, and I try to shy away from the TikTok a lot because of the China involvement, because it's owned by China, and I said, you know what, I just don't need it. Plus, it would be an extra platform for me to run.
Yeah.
But for some reason, this is amazing because I'm Erasmo Castro. For some reason, I started to find that people, because even my phone, which is a 15, my iPhone goes out there and says, "Hey, somebody is following you. Somebody's following you on TikTok. Someone's following you on TikTok." And I'm going like, "What the hell?" And I didn't even know I had followers on TikTok, and I have nothing on. Well, I had nothing on there, nothing. And I said, like, people are looking for me already because I'm Erasmo. So I said, well, screw that. So what I decided to do, and again, I'm already overwhelmed with a lot of the social, because I do have the largest social media platforms in the area,
Awesome.
as much as any and as much as Captain Bob may want to think that he has the most watched podcast south of San Antonio, which he doesn't, which is okay. I'll let him continue to believe that. but I do have the largest. I have the biggest one here in the area, the biggest one, and I use the biggest one regularly. But being that I do have the biggest, it's just overwhelming. I get over 100 some messages a day, and I share on various pages. The other day, someone was going like, "Well, we only see 12 people." I said, "That's only on one page. I mean, it's on different pages." But what I'm getting at is, finally, I'll get to the point. Is I'm going to start doing TikTok, and I'm going to start doing my traveling, because I'm going to Rome on Thursday. I'm going to
Ah,
headed
awesome.
headed to Rome. Going to spend my birthday in Rome, and then
Happy birthday.
gracias. Spending my birthday in Rome, and then I'm going to Istanbul. I'm going to Turkey,
Uh,
and finish off the celebrating my birthday in Turkey. And so I'm planning to do the little recording of everything, and more than any for our people down here, 956. I don't
yeah.
care if it goes viral or stuff, because a lot of people go like, "It's get you want the likes and the shares, you want to be viral." I said, "No, I want to record for my people here, because that's where my platform and my strength is here locally." But what I'm trying to finally, I'll probably get there. So I'm going to try that. When I first started doing these videos, these live videos, I was actually doing the eating videos, where I was, I do food reviews at different restaurants that I'd go to,
Oh,
and for some people, for some reason, people like the I'm eating the food and I'm out there more than anything I did to promote the restaurants. What I'm getting at is, I think this taco thing or this breakfast thing where you go and just interview regular people, have someone record you. I think it's a great idea. I think
I'm
people.
gonna I'm gonna do it. You know, one thing's interesting about politics and social media is no one has figured out the solution of how you translate social media into votes. You know, you could have 100,000 followers, you could go viral on TikTok, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're reaching the correct demographic and the correct voter base. But like you said, talking to people brings everybody into the game. You know, it brings everyone's voice and using that platform. So that's actually, running for politics and on the campaign. It's like, how do you judge speaking to people, speaking online? I don't have TikTok. I can't keep up, man. I'm old. I'm a viejo already, and I gotta, I have the Facebook and Facebook. I have the La Insta. I just got an X, honestly, not too long ago, but no one in the valley
Thank you for
is
that.
is really on X. And in all honesty, I don't think X is a huge platform in the 956. TikTok, I know, is growing, and I mean, but Snapchat, WhatsApp, like I can't keep up and continue to like. You have to make like five different segments on the phone, five different videos, and so thank you for having me though.
Oh no, but let me. It's kind of trippy, but I think a lot of the younger generation are on Twitter, on X. A lot of the younger generation. So again, people follow me because I'm Erasmo Castro. I mean, and again, I'm not saying it just to be presumido or something. It just comes with the territory. I mean, I walk at the mall or something, and people, Erasmo, 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 Erasmo," go eat Erasmo, which is it's cool with me. I'm okay with it.
I need to
But
go hang out with you.
oh yeah, yeah. No, but it's kind of true. Someone asked me. They said, "Hey, Erasmo, there's the Taste for La Frontera was here yesterday," and I said, "Erasmo, are you going to go to Taste La Frontera?" And I said, "Like, no." And a lot of people were saying messages. Erasmo, where are you? We're looking for you here at Taste La Frontera. I go like, I don't go out to overcrowded events, because I kind of like to do my alone thing. My small little circle and stuff. And it's not that I'm antisocial. I just what I like. But uh, and they said, last time you were here, I said, yeah, I was running for office. So you got to do that when you're running for office. Is that something that it's expected from you? I mean, do you enjoy going out there and being in large groups of individuals?
You know, not necessarily. My favorite thing to do, honestly, is to go to local businesses, local events, talk to people that are in the community that are sharing a good cause. And so, I mean, I love going to cafes. I love going to restaurants. One of my favorite places in Brownsville is Super Cream, Super Crema. And I mean, I go there too much, so I don't tag it as much as I should. But I definitely like going off the beaten path. As a matter of fact, I consider myself a taco stand connoisseur. If there's a food truck or tacos somewhere, I want to try it. One of my favorite things to do. I don't always have time to just sit down and have a great meal and be waited on. It's wonderful, but you usually catch me grabbing some tacos out of a truck or something like that and going on the run.
We were at Super Cream on Sunday. If I'm not mistaken. Sunday. Let me tell you, my favorite thing from Super Cream is el café lechero.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
That thing is evil, but it's amazingly good.
Yes, it's my favorite. My wife's favorite. Every time we go, my kids, they don't really care about coffee and everything yet, but they like the show for sure.
Yeah, yeah. They like when they do the milk up in the top. Yeah, it's a great.
Yeah.
And the coffee is really really good. Super Cream is, and I've never had bad food at Super Cream. I'll say that much. Always
Yeah,
great.
one of my friends told me about that place. She's from Tampico, and she said, you need to go to Super Cream for real Mexican food, for Tampico style food. And I was just blown away, and I'm a big fan ever since.
I think it's actually originated in Tampico, or I think in Tampico actually is originated in that area. I know it came from Mexico somewhere. Actually I thought it was Veracruz, but it might be Tampico.
It might be Veracruz. You could be right,
Yeah,
definitely.
I'm usually always right, but that's a different. But let me say, one of the things that again, going back into the Iowa caucus and everything, and going back into with the people's sentiment, I truly believe people are very upset. People are pissed, and people want something different. And I think that's one of the things that candidates like yourself are going to need to hook your little wagon to say, hey, as the yeah, man, and it's not so much that the anti establishment thing. It's the I can't put a plate of food on my table like I could 4 years ago. And again, you don't, and I have a lot of followers that are very Democratic, very liberal. You don't have to like Trump. You don't have to. You just have to like your life 4 years ago more than what you like it right now.
I know I have yet to find a single person that can tell me that these past 4 years have been, or 3 years have been better under the Biden administration for their home, for their house. Like, no one has ever said that things are going better for our country. There's more wars. There's people at the border. People drowning in the river right now because of the events that are going on and the corruption that has been caused by the cartels. And so I completely agree. I would, if Biden was lowering gas prices, I'd be the first person saying, "Oh my gosh, this is fantastic! Like, the economy is working for people." If egg prices and food were down, I'd be saying, you know what, Biden did a good job. He's doing what he needs to do for the people. But clearly, that's not what's happening right now.
No, it isn't. And, and let me say, I think one of the things that hurts, a couple of your opponents out there, and I don't want to mention her name, Mayra Flores, but I think what hurts her is doesn't come across as a genuine, regular, down to earth folk. And this is one of the I think one of the conversations I was having with Roman, because I told Roman I really think that she's struggling a lot with trying to be raza with la raza and trying to be politico with the politicos. And what happens, Greg, and this is something that I learned in my political stint as I was on the school board. One of the things that would freak everybody out was, I'd go to an event we celebrated Hannah and the football team, Hannah's football team, and the
Yeah, yeah,
band for going all the way to state.
yeah,
And we were out there, we had a little celebration at the cab, and literally all the board members were called up, and I was towards the end. No, but they called my name and the room went wild, bro, wild. And the football games, the pictures of the board members would come up, and da da da, this person, this person. Erasmo Castro's picture would come, and people were like, "Rah!" And I'm not even joking, it goes wild. And people ask me, like, why is it, Erasmo? Why is it that people go wild? I said, because students, young people nowadays, they're not stupid, Greg. They're not stupid. They are very, very much, awake. They're not geniuses, because let me tell you, some of the kids out there are kind of on the stupid side, and they know. I always said it, but at least they can tell when someone is being genuine and someone's being fake.
yeah.
And this is one of the things that one of the many things that I learned in politics. The younger generation now these days, if they have a conversation with you, they see you, and they tend to feel that you're, being todo falso. They're gonna kick you to the curb, And again, I think this is one of the things that I think your opponent is struggling with. She just doesn't know which hat to wear today, and she'll wear a different one depending on who she's speaking with. And I hate that. Personally, I hate that. And I think that most folks out there hate that the younger generation and the older generation. You might get some of the people in the middle that might believe your bullshit, but the viejitos, the older people, and the younger people, they're not going to buy it. And I think that this stem for the Grub Gate and the pictures. And I had this debate with Roman. I said I think this is where she's struggling in regards to who am I, and the people are going to say, who am I voting for? What am I voting for? So, what is your take on trying to fit in where I mean, con los de arriba y con los de abajo?
All I can do at Erasmo is be myself, Kunkel for Congress, and that's my best asset actually is just being myself, talking to people. I love speaking to people. I love learning. I'm a lifelong learner. I want to hear your story. I want to hear your issues. I want to try to help. And so you have to come to people and be humble and learn from them because there's people out there with experience. There's people out there that have been in your shoes, walked where you have walked. We're not new. This country is over 200 years old. These elections have been going on forever, and people can spot a fake candidate out from 200 yards away. Being scripted, I enjoy, as a matter of fact, especially improvisation and solving problems and using what I've learned in my history to bring forth and to give to other people. That's actually exactly why I'm running, is that I believe that I have solutions to the problems we face in South Texas every single day. And I want to speak those solutions to people. I want to speak those solutions to the people of Congress and the House of Representatives and be a voice for South Texas. And, going back to being scripted and being a fake candidate, like you said, people can see that directly. And that's one of my favorite things about social media now is being able to talk to people in the masses in a large number, just like you're doing on the podcast. I love the fact that you can now get online and anywhere that you're at home, you're in your car, you're on the bus, you can see somebody, you can listen to them. And I really enjoy the technology and utilizing that to communicate and reach people is my goal.
The experience required is someone who could wear some old torn boots, but not some that were bought at a vintage store. Some boots that say, "I've been there, I've done
Yeah.
that, I've walked the walk, and now I'm ready to talk the talk." Yeah, and I agree, and I agree 100%. I'm going to go to David's question real quick. If elected, will you support a balanced budget amendment and work to pass the budget on time?
David, let me answer that question strongly. I am the only candidate right now that is a constitutional conservative as well as a fiscal conservative. I will not support a bill that adds a single penny to the national debt. As a matter of fact, we have spent more as a country than we ever need to. We're still at post COVID spending levels. I want to get back to pre-COVID spending levels. And you know what? I want to help people as well. I'm not saying we need to cut programs like Medicare, Medicaid, or Social Security, but what I will say is that there are programs that we do need to cut. We need to balance the budget, and someone needs to go into Congress and make the hard decisions that we can still have what we need, but we don't have to spend an arm and a leg with our national budget to do it. The United States government makes no money. All the money that comes from our government is from taxes, hardworking people, and they redistribute the wealth. We need to stop doing that. We need a balanced budget. We need to lower the scope of government. And if elected, I will not support a bill that adds a penny to the national debt unless it is a matter of national security.
How can you say that they are smart if they've been electing the wrong people? Well, again, I'll go back to what I said. I said they're very woke, they're very awake in regards to sentiment. No, but again, very, very stupid in regards to a lot of the decision making process sometimes. What happens, Sansu, and I'll say this because a lot of people said, like, Erasmo, you have over 400,000 followers, which I do because I have the largest platform south of San Antonio. Erasmo, you have all these people that are, cheer you on all over the place. I go, yeah, but something that Greg mentioned, you cannot equate likes and followers to actual voters, because what happens, Sansu, is that a lot of these individuals, and I'll go twofold. A lot of the the individuals, which again are the ones acá arriba, the older folks, they become so disillusioned with the fake promises that politicians constantly make. They feel that they have needed to give up. That, nothing's going to change because they say everyone's the same. The younger generation, they haven't been educated in regards to the power that really truly exists behind their vote. And one of the things that I think that we've failed our students in, and this is not just a local problem, I think nationwide, where we failed our students is, kids graduate high school and they can't balance a checkbook. They don't know what income tax is. They don't know the importance of keeping your credit to a certain level in order to be able to later on purchase a vehicle or a house, because there's no concept or clue in regards to what FICA is, no concept or clue in regards to what federal withholdings are. And and they trip out. So most kids are like, yeah, I'm a liberal, I'm a Democrat, and then they start get taxes taken away from them. They go like, bitch, what the hell?
Let me
Go.
let me add a couple things to that. First of all, I think everyone in this world, South Texas 956-210, they're in different walks of life. And we all know that people are at different maturity levels as they grow. They mature and they learn. They get into the real world. So even if I meet a Democrat today, young or old, I still have faith that later on they will come to their senses and join the Republican Party and learn on how our government, why it's necessary and why it's not necessary. But another thing, I have a voter and a supporter who I spoke to in La Feria. He started his own AC business. And it wasn't until he started his own business and realized how much money goes to taxes, how much money goes to programs, did he realize that he was actually paying for some of these people that are getting these benefits that don't need them. He had a lot of workers, and he asked the workers, who are you voting for? What party? Democrat, Democrat. Why? Pues my father's a Democrat. Mi tío, like our whole family, we've always been Democrats. That's what they know. That's what they think is cool. And it just took him as a business owner to learn and also to teach other people that just because someone else is doing something, just because someone's voting for Biden, just because someone voted for Obama, doesn't mean you need to do it as well. So I still have faith that people can mature politically in their real lives. They do it every single day. And I'm glad to see that South Texas is part of that revolution where people are learning and watching now, especially with social media, what's going on at our border, what's going on in South Texas. And I still have faith that the people of America will succeed and continue to prosper in this country.
Well, again, going back into the kids leaving high school, without that, the 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 need to go out there and do their civic duty in regards to the power of voting, because a lot of the kids, again, they'll cheer for me like crazy. You got 2, 3 thousand individuals in a stadium cheering for Erasmo graduating from high school, and I mean, and I figured like that can't be an election I won't be able to win. You're talking about 5,000 students graduate a year here in Brownsville. I mean, they all love it, Asmo Castro. It's just how to get them to transcend that to the votes. That's where we struggle on. But I will say that we do need to educate, and I think this is one of the power tools that we need to be using in regards to social media in order to educate younger individuals, get involved, be a part of the electoral process, go out there and hold a sign for a candidate, go out there and make some phone calls, go out there and just push on your social media platforms that we've got to get this individual into office. And I make mention of that because it is important, because everything is politics. But uh, education reform. What is your take on what we need to do as a country in regards to our kids' education?
I'm a big fan of education choice. I think it's time for parents to have the ability to decide where the funding goes. Let the funding follow the child, whether it's vouchers, whether it's an account that's created by the state. But I do think now, I mean, think about the amount of opportunities we have at Osmo. 10 to 20 years ago, having Harvard lectures on your phone was not available. And here's what I'm getting to about internet and social media now. It's not an information problem. We have all the information of the entire world, every encyclopedia, every book at our fingertips. It is a learning problem. It is a teaching problem. And in my opinion, the first teachers are the parents. It begins in the home. And because of that, I believe we need to shift some of the responsibility from public schools back to the parents in an effort for them to teach their children. And my campaign, our slogan is family first, because everything begins in the family, including education. Personally, I homeschool is what we do. And that's because my wife wanted to spend more time with our children. And we're very blessed that we're able to do that. But it's amazing watching my kids learning at home, playing outside, coming in and doing some math, playing outside, working on Spanish. and it's a fantastic opportunity. We have freedom of our economy. Imagine if you had to go just shop at one store for all of your groceries. I know you like Walmart. I heard about that earlier, but why is the education system the only system where you are designated and have no options to go to school because of a lack of funding? I think we need to have increased competition in education, and I'm for everything. I want, if you want to go to a Catholic school, if you want to go to a Muslim school, if you want to go to a Christian school, if you want to go to Idea Academy, I do think public schools should compete for funding because that'll help everyone. And let me just close with this. It'll help everyone, the parents, the teachers, and the students. Erasmo, do you know any happy teachers? I mean, honestly, do you know a single happy teacher? What does that what happens? It goes downstream to our children and it's reflected in them as well. Unfortunately, suffice to say, I believe our education system has turned into a glorified babysitting service. And I know teachers from across the state, from Houston to the Valley, and it's unfortunate. I feel terrible for some of the things they have to go through because of a lack of discipline with their parents or at home. So I think we need to shift some of that responsibility back to the parents.
100%. I agree. 100%. Let's make it simple. Will national security bill include a border safety, border control?
Oh, definitely. I am very conservative and aggressive on the border. First of all, I would return back to Trump policies. We definitely need to close the border, but even more and further, I would involve the U.S. military in Mexico, defeating the cartels, stopping the corruption, as well as stopping the human smuggling business that the Biden administration has created. So, I mean, it's really simple, actually. I've spoken to many Border Patrol agents, and we just need to let the Border Patrol agents do their job. And if people don't know, here's what happens. The reason that Border Patrol have to bring these people in is because as soon as they see people in the river or in the barbed wire, it turns from an immigration aspect to a humanitarian aspect, which means if they see someone in the water or they see someone struggling in barbed wire, which is what the state of Texas did, they now have to shift to safety of the individual. And that's the loophole that Biden is using, is that it is unsafe for these people. Border Patrol previously would tell people in the river, go back. You know, they don't want to take them into custody. They don't want to do more processing. They would not allow them to cross. But as soon as they touch land, if they're struggling in the water, it becomes a humanitarian aspect. And I don't want to see anyone die there. I don't want to see anyone get hurt. But that's the loophole that Biden is using. We just need to let Border Patrol do their job.
A lot of these, unfortunately, they are leaving the valley. And again, my take, and mentioned, I think we mentioned this last time we were together, but yeah, uh, we need good paying jobs down here. There's been absolutely no economic development, none whatsoever. I think that we are one of the lowest paid wages in regards to a lot of the uh, hard labor jobs that a lot of individuals do, and a lot of folks will say like, well, yeah, o sea, allá en Houston paga más, pero también gastas más. Well, guess what? Now, I mean, look at the uh, to buy a home here, to rent a home. The other day, I don't know how long you've been following my page, but I had a post go up where this chick was out there renting this house, 3 bedroom house that looked like it was a house in a third world country. Horrible, allá de los barrios, allá más lejos de Matamoros. She wanted like $1,800 for that piece of crap. And I'm going like, what? And I shared it, and people were going like, are you out of your freaking mind? But it's impossible to rent a house here under $1,000. It's gotten really really crazy, and the gentrification is happening. There's a lot of individuals that are getting bought out of their homes, and what happens is, again, a lot of individuals se creen de que por el dinerito fácil, tengo mi casita, this guy's offering me $150,000 for it. I'm taking that. Well, guess what? If you're going to go out there and buy another casita, you're not going to be able to buy a casita with $150,000. And that's what gentrification is, and people are being pushed out of the system. How do we ease the blow of gentrification down here?
Well, going back to the initial problem of housing prices and the cost of living, all of that has to do and starts with the economy. All the spending that the government has been doing, all the money that is being pushed out, that's being printed in Washington, D.C., that's what's raised prices for everything. And most people are seeing that being reflected in mortgage payments, in trying to buy a house. And it's a direct result of government spending, which is why I want to balance the budget. I want to lower the national debt. And here's the sad part is that home prices are never going to go back down. Yes, people talk about a crash. Yes, people talk about a dip, but unfortunately, the cat's out of the bag. Once things start rising like this from a
They're
housing
never
cost
done.
perspective, and the population of the valley is not shrinking. Brownsville's growing, the entire valley is growing, and we are never the demand's increasing without the supply. So we are never going to see prices return lower. So we need to start at the top with the government and reducing the amount of government spending, reducing the scope, and get the money out of DC and let people keep their money and judge how they want to spend it.
100%. And again, it's a major issue, and I feel for a lot of the folks. I mean, a lot of us, don't have to go out there and buy a house because keeping my parents' house, just waiting for them to kick the bucket, and to stop cashing my damn checks like my dad did. He cashed my check. I got a little refund check from the insurance company, and sure enough, he saw Erasmo Castro. He went and cashed my check. I said, "Bitch, you can't do that." But I came this close to throwing him in jail. But that's a story for another day. I think I talked about it this morning. No, but I think a lot of folks out there, they're. I mean, I feel for a lot of folks out there that are first or second generations individuals coming across, and they're not going to find the American dream that they thought that they were going to find. But going into the immigration issue, let me tell you, I see the crash that is USCIS in regards to immigration on a daily basis. One of the things that I was screaming about was how many illegals were coming just across and were being housed right here in our parking garage, right here, a block and a half from my office. And the issue is we can't sustain all these individuals out here. I mean, we cannot keep all these individuals. It's just, I mean, I think Trump made mention that there was like already like a 3 or 4 million individuals that are already crossed, another 7 expected to cross in the next year and a half. That's crazy amount of money of
and
individuals.
And no one talks about the downstream ramifications of doing that. These people have children also. They need to go to school. It puts a burden on our school districts, increasing the numbers without the resources. More children in the classroom. I'm sure you know about that. Furthermore, the medical system. We have people coming across. If you go to the emergency room, regardless of where you're from, you're not going to be denied, but someone has to pay for that, which increases the cost. And then what happens? They ask the government for more money. So
Well,
the entire immigration process downstream affects healthcare, housing costs, food costs, as well as just daily life along the Rio Grande border.
you mentioned something that I think is very interesting. Well, first of all, Greg, this country needs immigration reform. Immigration does not know what the hell they're doing. They desperately need immigration reform because as of what happens right now, I don't know if you're very much aware, but a lot of the individuals that are filing for amnesty, not amnesty status, asylum status,
Asylum, yeah.
they'll go through the CBP1 program, and they're letting them come across. Well, these individuals, they'll come across, and the government doesn't know what the hell to do with them. I mean, we haven't had Kamala Harris come down here. She's the border czar.
What is
Hasn't
our
come down. No one has come down from the Biden administration. Mayorkas, I think, came down once or twice. Never even stepped foot close to the border. But it doesn't matter if they come or not. We need them to solve the issue. And the issue is, you've got all these, and I see them every day. I go to Matamoros every day because I marry people on the bridge. I go and I come back and I see the lines of individuals at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And I'm not crapping you. 2 o'clock in the afternoon, they rush and they let hundreds of individuals across because their appointment through the CEP1 program has gotten approved, the Customs and Border Protection one program. They let them across, and they're given court dates to appear before
yeah.
an immigration judge. And let me tell you, a lot of the court dates that I've seen are like 2025, 2029, and all these things. They're not being given a work permit. They're not being given a work permit. They cannot file for a work permit until after 150 days. What are they going to do for those 6 months?
So what the Biden administration is doing with that, Erasmo, is they are trying to put a burden on the system so that they can turn around and say, well, we need more money for immigration. We need more judges. We need more courts. And that is true. We need to make our
Desperately need.
processing more efficient. But that's why they are putting these people into the system, because whoever's president next, that's not going to change their court date in 2029 or
No,
2027. They're still going to be in line. So the Biden administration is trying to pack the entire system, overwhelm them, and then say, "Ooh, we have a problem. We need more money." That's exactly what's going on for Ukraine and for Russia, the war in Russia as well. They're trying to tag those two together.
Well, it's crazy because what happens is you're talking about millions of individuals coming across, and again, something that you mentioned in regards to there's not enough judges out there. That they're not, and I people come by my office regularly and they ask. I said, I have a court date coming up in 2020, 24, 25. I said it's not going to happen. You're not going to go to court. It's going to get pushed over ahead and forward and forward and forward. I mean, literally. And I had one individual. Can you help me? Because I need to make a phone call. Had an appointment here at Port Isabel to presentarse. We tried calling the court. Say, guys, the guy's here. He went, and they told him, we don't even have you in the system yet. And I mean, this is a court date before an immigration judge was not in the system. And I go like, aquí tengo el papel. It says to present myself. What do I do? And I said, there's nothing you can do.
And Osmo,
it's pushed and pushed.
It's even worse at Osmo. There are tens of thousands of children alone. Our government is now in the child raising business for all these unaccompanied minors that come over. As a parent, it breaks my heart that, I understand people send their children or maybe their parents were lost along the way, but it's just terrible that the United States government is now in the business of raising children and taking them in and just saying, oh, we're going to provide a better life. We're going to take care of them. And then they overwhelm the adoption system. They overwhelm the caretakers for the children. They're doing it on purpose to overwhelm the system.
People don't know. I think individuals know what to do, because I know for a fact that there's hundreds of thousands of Americans, of people here that would die to go out there and adopt a lot of these children. But the system is so screwed up out there that you've got the far crazy wackos on the left out there going like, oh no, because they have to be raised by individuals that are Mexican or Hispanic or Venezuelan. And the kids don't care. They don't care if their parents are gringos or black or Asian, or they don't care. They just want a home, a bed to sleep on. They want something. So hurry up with the adoption process if we have to. But then they go like, well, what about their real parents? We have to find their parents. Who knows if you're going to find these individuals or not? I mean, there's hundreds of thousands of kids here. And, and then you've got these Southwest Keys people, the IES people, these housing people that, take the kids in planes all over the place, everywhere. They don't even know where they're going. And let me tell you, I've heard horrible stories in regards to a lot of these places. And there's no oversight. No one out there is going and checking to make sure that the kids are okay. They're being treated well. I get messages all the time where the kids, they're not being given enough to eat. They're being mistreated. And again, nothing against the workers. It's just the limited resources that are out there. But what we're going to start to find out is that there's limited resources for everyone, especially the Americans, the veterans, and the individuals that should be getting a lot of the care and the resources, and they're not.
It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah. It's taxing. And ultimately, somebody's got to pay for those taxes. And someone's got to pay for them. And it's just going to be us. And then our mortgages are going to go up. Our prices are going to go crazy. And then students that are graduating are going to go like, what the frick is fricka?
Hey, one thing that Congress can do, though, and one thing that I'm going to work on now that we're in a post-Roe world, we do need adoption reform. I have friends that have adopted, and it costs about $30,000 per child. He's done it twice. $30,000 in a year-long process to adopt a child. And he's an American citizen. This is from an adoption agency. So I think we can help people adopt and take care of children that want to take that step. I think it's a beautiful thing. And why not have a program in the government provide some assistance where we can do that and help people adopt and take care of these children that want to?
Because it's all red tape. I personally know a lot of individuals that would die to adopt, and they can't because they have to go through all this. And I understand the safety measures. Let's keep the safety measures. But come on, if you got an individual out there that has proven that they can't have children on their own,
or have children,
or have children want to add on, but they haven't been able to, let them have first dibs on a lot of these kids.
Yeah.
Also, one of the things that, again, I'm very conservative. I'm the greatest pastor in Texas and north of Mexico, not by far. I'm not even joking. The greatest pastor and the most handsome one too. But let me tell
I
you,
agree.
one issue that me and Roman get into fights about this a lot. Let me tell you, there's a lot of gay couples out there, great individuals, also dying desperate because they can't have children. Uh, Let them adopt. I mean, I mean, they've got every right to do everything else. Let them adopt. And I think Roman almost blew a gasket. Like, how did you say that? Go like, someone's got to take care of these kids. And I personally know a couple in Dallas, and let me tell you, a couple in Dallas that been many years ago. They decided wanted to adopt a baby that was an AIDS baby, a baby that was born with the virus and stuff, and drug baby. They said, well, we'll take them. I mean, they gave them hell and a half. I mean, let individuals adopt. They're already legally married. Which again, I think anyone and everyone that wants to choke, anyone out there se quiera poner la soga en el cuello y se quiere casar, more power to them. Let them marry. Not, I'm not against individuals getting married if they're from the same sex. I think that they should, especially if and anyone needs to get married, they can surely call me. I'll marry them for sure. Not a plug. What's your stance in regards to individuals of same sex adopting, getting married, and having the same rights as any other others individuals here?
You know what, Erasmo? I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that one on the surface because I believe even further. Here's a progressive idea for you. I believe that every child has a right to a mother and father. Now, does that occur in everyday society? Of course not. We have individual mothers, children, abuelas, tias that are taking care of kids. But at the fundamental core, I believe every child needs a mother and a father because you know why? That's where they came from. You can't have a child without a mother and a father, and I believe that every child has that right. So I would hold back on saying that I would allow homosexuals or lesbians or anyone just to adopt as freely as a normal couple would. But that being said, we do have individuals like someone that may be solo. They're not married. They want to adopt as well. People can do along those lines, but I will disagree with you on that
Okay.
one.
Well, you mentioned normal couples, so and again, that's cool. I don't hate you. So, you would consider individuals who are or have now have the right legally to get married, not a normal couple.
Well, in regards to parenting, yes, because again, truly as a right, I believe children deserve a mother and a father. Statistically, in studies, it is shown that children do better when they have a mother and a father, and those examples. And even in human nature, I think our children need to learn from both a mother and a father. And I would argue, scientifically, statistically, that changing that paradigm, going with two fathers or two mothers, would change the viewpoint of a child psychologically growing up. That is my opinion on the matter.
But it's based more on opinion than on scientific fact, because there's very little information in regards to scientific fact that would show it, because it's not very common, because individuals have not been allowed uh, to do it and develop. Again, let me tell you, I know a couple that adopted an Asian baby, and they adopted a baby that was born with a crack addiction. And let me tell you, nobody wanted to pick up on those children. No normal parents out there. And they sure as heck wanted to. And they went to hell and a half. Again, I truly believe anyone that wants to go out there and adopt anyone that they want should have the right. And very firm on the stance against gay marriage.
No, I mean, I'm not saying I'm very firm on the stance against gay marriage. If people want to get married, they have that right in this country to do that. But taking that next step of adopting children and putting children into that family, again, biologically, a child comes from a man and a woman, and I do think that is the type of nurture that they need in development. That's
But
that's what I would argue.
why would the government have that right to decide ultimately
Oh, on marriage or on the adoption?
on both?
Well, marriage. So I would love to do a segment on marriage with you about this. But government does play a role in marriage, not necessarily the matrimonial rights that you may have spiritually, but from the context of a functioning society and how our government operates and the benefits that are incurred through marriage. Our government does play a role in that. For instance, in the protection of children, you can be married, you can have children. If someone is hitting their kids or abusing them, the government's right or the government's obligation is to protect children. If you're having spousal abuse, if a wife is being beaten by her husband, that's not right, that's not legal, and the government's job would be to intervene at that point. So I do believe the government plays a role in protecting children, protecting families, and that's what I want to see. I mean, our campaign is built on family first, and that is the American nuclear family with a husband and wife.
Awesome. Okay, good. Will you vote to return the federal school lunch program back to the pre-2012 standards?
I'll be completely honest and say I do not know what the pre 2012 standards are. Growing up myself, I came to learn. My wife's from McAllen. In McAllen, they had free lunch for everyone already when we were growing up in the early 2000s. Probably Brownsville in Harlingen, where I grew up and went to school, I had to pay for my lunch. I remember I'd be giving the lunch lady 85 cents, $1.25 for lunch and breakfast. So I'll be honest in saying I am not aware of what those standards are.
Well, um, I think a little bit of I think one of the things that I think is important is to go back and revisit a lot of the restrictions that were placed on a lot of the food consumption for a lot of our kids out there. And I think again, I think it's a very woke ideology in regards to well, we got to go down to 2%. And we got to make sure that ketchup is classified as a tomato, as a vegetable. And I think people went crazy out there. Give us a damn square pizza. Bring back the damn hamburgers. I mean, we grew up on the damn square pizza. We did okay.
That's right.
I mean,
I completely agree.
yeah. Stop. I think this is what Dave was referring to. Was that a lot of the heavy big old restrictions? America's progressing. No, I'm sorry. Let's go this one. Caravans of migrants need to stop. How do you plan to deal with the core problem of why they're doing this?
So that's going to involve leveraging our resources on forcing Mexico to also secure their border. These caravans are starting in southern Mexico, Central America, and they are coming up through Mexico. Mexico needs to be the first line of defense, and we can work with them and leverage the trade that we have, the business that we are doing, and ask them to stop. I'm not going to say I want military intervention or that we want to harm anyone at all, but clearly Mexico is allowing this to happen because they know that these caravans are just passing through. They're not going to stay. They're not going to rely upon Mexico for these resources. There's an open door at the United States. So we need to put the burden on Mexico to stop the initiation of these caravans before they get to the U.S. border.
Well, the caravans are coming from. Caravans are really coming from more from Central and South America. They're coming through Mexico. So,
That's what I mean.
so
Yeah.
you're okay. Yeah, and unlike Kamala Harris, I've actually been to both borders. I've been to the northern border of Mexico and the southern border of Mexico, and I think I agree with you in respect that Mexico needs to do a little bit more in regards to enforcing their southern border because they were for a little while Trump was there. Now it's a policy of dale gas as long as you're going straight through because Mexico has also felt the hit in regards to a lot of the individuals from Venezuela, from Colombia, from Central America, deciding to stay a while in Mexico, and they're going like, no, no, ustedes síganle. So my question is, how do we encourage Mexico to help to do the Trump thing that we're doing 6 years ago in regards to sealing up their southern border?
First of all, obviously we have to work with them to do that, but it's going to come down to the money, Erasmo. We have to hold Mexico's feet to the fire, and we need to let them know that if they're going to keep allowing this to occur and people to come to our southern border, first of all, the core issue is that people know the border's open, so people know that once they get there, they're going to be able to make it. If we alleviate that fact, if we close down the border and word gets out that they will not be able to gain asylum or be able to enter the border, that's going to severely diminish the caravans to begin with. But at the same time, we need to essentially force Mexico to put more security. If they want additional resources, if we need to send, I think America would agree that if we need to send help to Mexico, whether it be soldiers or not National Guard, but No, I don't want to give them money, but if they need support to enforce their southern border, I think the United States and America should be able to do that, and we can make it happen.
A couple more questions. America is progressing more and more, and to call it normal families is a setback. Let me tell you, it may be considered a set. This is my take, and I know great. Let me tell you, I truly believe anybody out there wants to do the pursuit of happiness any which way they want. I don't care as long as it doesn't interfere with my life, my casa. I don't care who people sleep with. I don't care.
I completely agree.
But I agree that I agree with Greg and with anybody else out there that in regards to protecting children from the dangers that are out there. But let me tell you, a lot of the major dangers out there is, especially that was something that we found out through a lot of these movies in regards to the sex trafficking, the Epstein Island stuff. It's something. It's not the gay people out there that are, are hurting the kids. A lot of them are just sick old people that are hurting the kids, and a lot of those sick old viejito white people that are out there. I saw very few Mexicans, very few black people out there being invited to Epstein Island on
On
the
the Epstein jet, right?
yeah.
On the manifest.
So yeah, would you support ending economic embargoes with Cuba and or Venezuela?
So those economic embargoes are there because of the government, the totalitarian government they have, and we need to see real change before we're going to be able to have that. If you want to say something, go ahead.
No,
But
comment.
oh, I got you. I got you. But no, I would not support ending those embargoes yet till certain criteria are met. And we can work with Cuba. We can work with Venezuela in trying to change their system of government. But I personally know people from Cuba, and I have heard the stories that goes on there. I have heard how the government controls everything in every single system. And there's a reason why they don't get the benefit of having trade and business with America, because we are a very lucrative country. But unfortunately, if you're going to have that kind of government, you cannot reap the benefits of trade with the United States of America.
Well, unlike Kamala Harris and most people here in the United States, I've been to Cuba. I've been to Cuba 3 times already, and I'm going to be in Cuba next month. Let me tell you, United States needs to work harder with the Cuban government in regards to ending these embargoes. Have to, initiating a lot of the different reform that needs to be, placed in Cuba. But again, we got to do something. And I don't necessarily think that we need to end the embargo immediately in regards to shutting it off. I think we need to work with a country. I don't, again, haven't been to Venezuela. I was supposed to go in December. I postponed it to hopefully later on this year. So I don't know, but I know the situation that's going on in Cuba. It's a horrible situation, horrible. And again, I've talked to a lot of the different folks here in Mexico, especially the individuals in the church group, and I've said, guys, we're failing the country that is right here, right next to us. There's no food. There is absolutely no medicine. And let me tell you, wages are super low. The minimum wage in Cuba is $35 a month, a month, and people are going hungry. You go to the shopping, and you don't go food shopping quiero arroz, quiero frijoles, quiero un aceite. You go to see que hay, and whatever there is, that's what you're taking home. If
And I would argue, Erasmo, that again goes back to the economic policies of their government and the way that they treat their people, the rights that the people have. There needs to be total reform in those countries before we can start dealing with them on a regular. I want to help them too. I would love to go to Cuba personally. I know you can visit, you can go on tour and things in there, and I would love for America to do business with Cuba. They're so close. They're a strategic ally in terms of defense and their location, but from an economic and government perspective, we can't, just like Russia, right now, you cannot, or Iran, you cannot do trade or have certain goods that can go to these countries because of the current conflicts and governments that are going on there. And unfortunately, Venezuela and Cuba are part of that paradigm right now.
well, I'll take you to Cuba. Uh, it'd be my
I'll
honor to
do
take
it.
you to
Let's do
Cuba
it.
as uh, member of Congress, going to Cuba with Erasmo Castro.
We'll do a congressional ambassadorship. We'll go over there and talk
I'll
to
even
people.
I'll even do a TikTok on it.
Ah,
Would you begin talks with other countries instead of depending on Mexico?
So the story that I've heard in regards to this question, Lalo, is that we need to help the governments by giving them more money. You know what? I am definitely willing to begin talks with these countries. Let's talk about solutions. Let's talk about the problems. But at the end of the day, most people want money from the United States government, and we don't have any more money to give. So, I mean, how much humanitarian aid goes to these countries on a regular basis as it is? I'm sure it is in the billions that we are sending in cash and humanitarian aid to some of these countries. And I think it's going to have to go well beyond just the talks. You know, we've been doing this for a while, and there needs to be significant change in the people more than anything at this point in time. Now, how do you accomplish that? I am not. I don't know how to change the government's heart. That's my cuckoo clock. I'm sorry about that.
That's right.
I am not a policy expert on Venezuela or Cuba, honestly, or South America, Ecuador, Guatemala. But it is definitely a conversation I'm willing to have in trying to help these people.
I've been to Guatemala, been to Cuba. You, I accept the job. I'll be your advisor. Will you push to finish the I-69 project to link Brownsville to the interstate highway network?
I would. That's one thing that we can, Republican or Democrat, agree on is infrastructure
Gotta happen.
spending. That's the federal government's job, is to protect our infrastructure, to build roads, to build waterways. I want desalination plants. I want more water for the Rio Grande Valley. I know Brownsville gets a lot of their water from aquifers. We need to increase that exploration. So that's what I think government spending should be, is something that benefits the people, like roadways, bridges, drainage systems, water systems, power systems. The valley is just going to grow, and we definitely need to look at federal funding for all of those issues.
Awesome. Our hour's up.
Nombre!
It went by so quick. I was
I
freaking
just
out.
got
I'm
warmed
like,
up.
oh crap. Yeah, we did. That was quick. But was thanks for coming on.
Oh, anytime. I enjoy it. Thank you so much for having me, and I love these discussions. And hey, you're the only guy that I've been with that has the questions from the audience that want to know. So I really appreciate you bringing the audience into this
Oh
engagement.
yeah, always. And a lot of these people, they, a lot of the same questions that have been asked in regards to a lot of these matters are questions that a lot of folks out there have. So I appreciate them
Of course.
asking questions. Next week,
Yeah, yes, sir. You know it.
I'll be back. I'm going to be in Rome on the 19th, the 20th for my birthday. So on the 21st, I'll be in Turkey. 22nd, Turkey. Be back in Rome. 23rd, 24th. I'll be back on the 26th. So let's plan on doing a show either Thursday or Friday, whichever whichever is good for you. If I do decide to uh, make a live from Italy, what happens is I have to literally wake up like at 4 o'clock in the morning to do
Oh,
it.
that's right. The
So
time
it's
zone.
kind of, yeah, it's kind of the crazy side. But if I could do one at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I actually do want to have a show from Rome and one from Turkey. So I'll let you know if you're available. I'll send you a message if you're available. We'll hit them from El Turkey from El 956.
Let's do it. Hey, safe travels, Erasmo.
I appreciate it. Have a great night, gentlemen. You too, San. Love you. If there's more than enough money for Ukraine, Israel, why not American Hampshire? Amen, brother. 100%. Good night, Jim Morrison. Love you, Alex. Guys, have a great evening. Guys, we'll be on tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock with John Shergold, who is a candidate for district judge. John Shergold is also a fighter out there. He's an attorney. Good night, Jordan. Love you, Jordan. He's an attorney that fights a lot with a lot of the local unions. So it's going to be an interesting little talk tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. I think Roman's going to be on as well. So Roman's always interesting whenever he's on. So that'll be going to great. We should have a couple of doctors that I haven't been in touch with. I'm going to see if I can have them on before I leave on Thursday morning, guys. And again, we'll plan to have a show. At least one from Rome, a couple from Rome, maybe, and maybe one from Turkey. I'd love that, and I think they'd be kind of on the cool side. Watch out for the TikTok videos. I'm going to hire someone to handle my TikTok account. So we'll see how that goes, and we'll see what happens. But I do appreciate you all. Thank you all for being patient with me. Thanks, Greg. Appreciate you greatly, and man, Godspeed on the campaign, guys. Have a great evening. Be good to each other. Continue to be good to me. God bless.